So yes, if you didn't see, so yesterday or actually 2 days ago, I made a poll stating a lot of people have stopped doing PvP in Dragonfly. What do you think is the main reason that people quit? And then also feel free to elaborate in the comment section, okay? So we put out this poll and we got over 1,000 votes. So it's gonna just go through the results of the poll and also read some of the comments. And hopefully maybe get to like some type of solution. Not that like I know the solution or I think anyone like really like knows what's gonna fix it, but I think it's pretty clear that like there's a problem though with it, right? But I guess we're trying to figure out like what the biggest thing is. But yeah, so in the poll we put out though, 49% of the votes went to long queue times, especially shuffle, but also just in general. And I mean, this kind of like what we just kind of touched on too, is that you want to play the game, you come home from work, whatever, from school, like this guy commented, hold up. He has like 1-2 hours to play, he can't just come in and play the game, because shuffle, and LFG isn't really that appealing either. So, yeah, just long queue times. And I think this kind of just is a deeper issue of just not being able to play the game when you want to. And if you can't play the game when you want to play the game, then I think that's a big problem for the game in general. The healer to DPS ratio is so scuffed. So you end up with like, you know, 45-minute queues. You're in 20-minute queue. Yeah, just like right now. You guys are experiencing it. Yeah, 30-minute queue. It's like healer to DPS ratio is, you know, like a big problem. So like one kind of fix would be like, or this is the hard fix is like just reimagining healing, whatever, right? And like making healing more appealing. You could also incentivize people like with mounts and stuff, but I think that will only go so far. If it's still like feeling like pain to play. If you're playing healer, you go in, you just get flamed every game, and you're not really gaining CR. It's hard to like know exactly like what direction the game should take, and I guess that's what Blizzard is paid to do. I feel like some ideas for like long queue times, and I said this also in Dragonfly beta, because even then queues were very long, right? For shuffle, it's like a 2v2 solo queue where double DPS can be matched, okay? And it would fix queue times. It would be like a bit of a fiesta, okay? But again, like I think the main like problem, the main issue. And I think like many other problems can pop out of that, like other symptoms. But it's just like you just can't play the game when you want to play the game. And therefore, I think having like some kind of just like maybe double DPS solo queue, or just like a brand new game mode. Something like some kind of game mode where that DPS to healer ratio just won't be that big of a problem, you know? Because I think the fundamental thing is just that you just can't play the game when you want to play the game. And like even when there was like a lot of players, it's still the same thing because of the healer to DPS ratio, like in the start of the X-Pack, right? I then put like the meta, which only got 9% of the votes. So, like rep balance in 10.1.7, for example, where it was just like insane. Like everyone rolled Repala, and if you weren't Repala, you probably were not having a good time. So, I mean, that got some votes. But, like, I actually think, like, things can be broken here and there, and it's kind of fine. As long as you can actually play the game. Not that it's optimal, but yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense that it didn't get that many votes. But people, like, definitely do just tire of certain metas and take breaks or quit the game. So, definitely a thing. And again, it's probably like the combination of things, right? Just word heals better and punish them less. I play healer and sometimes I get people on my team acting like a total monkey for the first 2 rounds to me. Like God every single game. Yeah, I mean that's like a problem of Soul Shuffle though. And honestly, like it might not even be that they play like really bad with you and like very good against you. It might just be the matchups, whatever it is, right? Could be anything. And that's just kind of like shuffle. I think, you know, that's kind of how it is. But yeah, better rewards would be great. Yeah, we're gonna get to like MMR as well. And the issue of, yeah, MMR. Then we have the third one is can I actually do arena what I want. It goes in hand with this one. But it's like more focused on LFG. It's like if you don't want to do shuffles, right? You're like, okay, then I'll go in LFG, and then you also might easily spend like 30 minutes in there, like not finding queues as well. There was like one comment about this. Yeah, like this guy, Danny here. He said it's possible to find people to play with since like early BFA, I log on, sit in LFG, look for people to play with for 2 hours, and then just log off. And this one was a problem like way before Shuffle ever was a thing. And the thing is, like, we were hoping that Shuffle was going to fix, like, Shuffle was, like, in our hopes and dreams, the fix to this issue, you know? Like, that's what everyone was kind of really hoping for. Is that, like, now you don't need to sit LFG for, like, hours. Maybe, like, find a person, queue one game, he's going to flame you and leave. But Shuffle isn't that, because you spend as much in queue for Shuffle as you would finding someone to play with. And the problem is now, Shuffle kind of made that even harder. It's like Shuffle kind of like replaced it, but it's not like a solution because it's the same problem. You just can't play the game when you want to. But I guess like these two kind of go like together. They do. Okay, then we have Toxicity, community problems. I actually thought like every game will have this. Every game will have this, right? So like I think this is like not like a main reason people quit, but it is a thing for sure, right? I think especially for like healers. Like if you're a healer, this may be like a small reason why there's like less healers or not many healers, because they usually get the blame. Okay, often, especially like lower Mar, like the war's gonna run in, sug, go behind the pillar, die, start like raging on his healer, and if you're a new healer, you know it's probably not very tempting. But again, all the reasons probably kind of compile each other. Like so, right now, okay, dude, like one huge issue, man. I think it's like the crazy MMR, like difference from season to season. Because let's say like Unchained season or even last season in Shuffle, like you have one season where it's super inflated, and then people will kind of get used to being whatever CR they got that season. Like let's say they got Glad that season, that's like very inflated, and then Shadowlands also had this problem in like season 3 and 4 for that matter. Is that people like then get very discouraged when the MMR is just so like randomly different next season. Like one season like 3.6k will be the same as like one season's 2.5k or 2.6k almost. You know, like where it can be like a crazy difference. And if you're suddenly hard stuck like 700 CR lower than it used to be, just like psychologically, it's gonna feel really bad. And yeah, like a lot of people did put that that vote, and again, like this one will of course also kind of be like they go hand in hand. These things like they compile. You have like people like might not queue because queue times are long, and then queue times are long because MMR is deflated, and then it's just like a vicious cycle of like things kind of negatively impacting the game. Something that WoW PP like I think needs is some kind of reimagining of. Yeah, like maybe a new bracket. Okay, like Shuffle's a new bracket, but that didn't do it. Just some bracket that can just get you in the action. That's kind of how I see it. Like you need reliable like way to play the game if you want to play the game, you know? And that's kind of what is missing. It's kind of how I see it, at least. Like maybe some kind of 6v6 like new game mode with new maps made for it. Yeah, like new rating system potentially. And again, it's very hard to like know what the right thing to do is, right? But that's what Blizzard is paid to do. And that's what we're all paying our sub for as well, right? So The thing is, like, how I see it though, and maybe I'm wrong, but balancing is pretty good right now. Like, I think balancing can be a bit wonky sometimes. So, like, even seasons were like in previous expansions where some specs are very good, it's kind of okay, but I see like those as like smaller problems than just not being able to actually play the game that you pay for, right? Like, people coming home from work and all that, you know, and just not being able to play. Which actually reflects as well in the pool results, which is kind of cool to see. Like, I'm not saying that the balancing is perfect now by any means, but I think, like, if you look at WoW's history, right? Like, the balancing is pretty good now compared, but it feels like a lot worse now when it comes to actually playing the game. But again, like, we're also moving into, like, a new era of gaming, I think, to where people want to just play the game. Like, people just want to go, log in, and be in some kind of gameplay. It came to save LFG, right? Or save us from LFG in a way, or the average player. And then it just like didn't do that because it takes as much time, but it also kind of killed LFG a bit. So like in its current form, it's kind of brutal. But not to say that like you can't. There probably is a path to like having LFG queues be low through, you know, whatever, how healers work. There's probably a path there, but I don't know. I mean, that's Blizzard jobs. Comments. I've not seen this one, but let's read it. Okay, so it's a confluence of a bunch of factors. Emo. This is true. I think it's like very simplistic. Just like say like shuffle's the problem, or this like it's a mix of things, right? That's kind of how I see it as well. It's definitely a combination of things. Yo, we got to keep up, by the way. Speaking of that, we've been in shuffle queue this whole time. So let's play the shuffle and then read the comment. Number 1. The bear tension for PP has arguably gotten higher despite gearing being relatively easily. This is true. Gearing right now is maybe the easiest it's ever been. At least up there. Like, it's super fast. This is because you're all required to have dozen add-ons in order to gain basic awareness via tracking, cooldowns, weak cores, etc. It didn't used to be this bad, but they keep doubling down on stacking modifiers. They're glacial about incorporating add-on functions. So, they're glacial about. Does that just mean, like, they're... I think I agree with what it's saying here. I feel like what they should do, Optimal, is, like, incorporate certain add-ons into the base UI. Like, S-Arena. I think Omnibar, I think, diminish. I think also big debuff just, like, should just be in the UI. Like, it just clean. It's like, I think it's like 3, 4, maybe 5 add-ons that should probably be, like, incorporated into the UI. The new UI feature, dude, yeah. You can, like, just have a box here. Check up, like, DR tracker or whatever it is. True. Like, they could just, like, just do this in here. Edit mode. Like, then you can have, like, PvP or whatever, right? Like, yeah, where it says player versus player. And they could have enemy cooldown tracking. Diminishing returns. Teammate DRs as well. Just like, you just check the boxes. Like, I think that'd be good. Make it simple and also, like, streamline the experience for, you know, new players, old players, and just kind of make it more even, I guess. Alright, 2. Healing is less durable than ever, which is the main reason for the crazy queue times. This is in part because the healers have lost agency over games, and in part because Dampening's design actively punishes healers alone, making the role miserable. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, if healing... Okay, like, I think this is true, but also, like, just how Soul Shovel works, maybe just healing in that format, it's just, like, not a very enjoyable thing to do. But, like, healing 3s and 2s right now is probably, you know, like, fairly as fun as it's been, you know. Basically, I think this is, like, not just healers, but especially healers, but, like, no sense of progression. It feels really bad. Especially, like, if you feel like you're progressing the wrong way. And I mean, like, overall, not just, like, if you're playing bad a day or whatever, but, like, overall, this kind of ties back into MMR and, like, MMR difference between seasons being high, but like having like a lack of, I mean, it's just like psychological, right? Like not feeling like you can work towards something, like if it's glad or a lower rating, and it just feels like you're just running on a treadmill, not going anywhere. You know, which I think is a big issue, especially for healers and shuffle. Toxicity has been increasing in part because it's untenable queue situation that has people wasting hours of time all for nothing. I haven't seen this too yet. Like maybe like people are probably more toxic because you're sitting like a long queue, and then you get in the game. Then maybe someone trolls. Maybe you troll, right? Like everyone makes mistakes, but like after like being in queue for that long, it's like road rage. You know, like when you're on the road, people get like really angry very easily. It's like soul shuffle rage. It's like a heightened like state of being where you're just like gonna pounce at everything, and I think that's definitely a thing. Again, I think like this is it's gonna be in any game, the toxicity, but yeah. I think the long queue time is definitely probably amplified though a bit, right? But again, in my view, the biggest problem is, and the thing is, he is tackling these things, and again, many factors, but like there's smaller issues like toxicity, and but all games will have this, but it's not being able to queue the game. It's the worst thing. Let's see, and of course, there's more specific ones. It's easy to look at the continuous sets of Classic Realms. Back when I was much more versed in social RPG, and cost that with more artificial antisocial theme park. Yeah, I think it's a pretty base post though. Yo, Munch with a 19 months. Thank you, man. Thank you, dude. I think like this like hits like a lot of it, right? And there's a lot more than this too. So some things mentioned before, but yeah. But you guys, that is the post we made. They're the comments, guys. I'm gonna put this in the comment section and also in my chat right now if you want to read through the comments and all that. Put your own comment, and yeah, or vote if you want to.